Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And we're on part 2 of my neon sign, and I hope it turns out well. So I got here a piece of cardboard, I got some rinse water with a little bit of soap in it. I'm getting a crappy brush, and I'm going to get the basic colors I use to make everything the way I want it. So I'm not going to do the sign part, but I am going to do the base and stuff. Just get a tiny bit of brown metallic, a tiny bit of this super wet red brown, and if you don't have some, you can make some, obviously, and a tiny bit of this gray, and hope I don't go overboard wasting this time, because that's been kind of a thing lately. I've been going too much waste, and your paints and stuff don't last forever if you waste them, but I'm sure you know that. This brush used to be much bigger long ago, before I rushed and got it into super glue and stuff, since I started making videos, because I used to just leave stuff sit. But since I don't edit and I do everything like now, you can't leave stuff sitting as long as you want to sometimes. And sometimes I only have like an hour to make, my video. And when that happens, I tend to rush in between even letting it dry. And that's just kind of what happens when you work a full-time plus job and have a business and have children and a YouTube channel, and you're fighting against the government all the time. When I say fighting against the government, I don't want you to take that out of context. I'm fighting against my local government. They're doing stuff I don't agree with, and I'm standing up to it. We have a lot of elderly people in this town that are on fixed incomes. We have a lot of people that are on low-income families and stuff, and they just make these decisions without really considering how it's going to affect these people, and someone's got to stand up to it. And unfortunately, it seems like it's more often than not me. They keep thinking they're going to bring business back into a dead steel town, and it's just not going to happen. And they keep trying, and it's just stupid, but it is what it is, and I'm just doing my part to fight it. Our water department's corrupt. I used to work there. I know I worked at the water plant for 10 years. That's what I did before I got into environmental. I was blacklisted in the water community for turning them into the state, actually. Couldn't even get a job at a water department because everybody knew what I did. So, some call me a rabble-rouser. I consider myself a freedom fighter. Okay. So, again, we're not painting the sign part. So it probably wouldn't hurt to do the edges of it, as long as we're careful not to get it on the front. We don't want the front painted up. We want to leave that black. All right, now we can skip everything else for now and take a break from that and come up and do the letters on our sign. And those are going to be done in white. I'm not using a pure white. I'm using this cool tone Mummy Robes white first. It's a little thicker, and it's going to give me a little better coverage. And we got to be careful because we want to stay off that black and off the glue. We'll do it once in this, and then we'll come back with a plain white and do it. A lot of stuff going on in the news today I kind of want to talk about, but I don't like to mix my politics with my crafting. I don't like to mix my politics with anything. I actually wish politics weren't so widely talked about and covered on the news and stuff and on YouTube, because if you think about it, national politics really have very little effect on most people. We can't do anything about it. We voted in the elections. Whether we won or not doesn't really matter. And then once that election's over, sitting and arguing about it and fighting amongst ourselves about it won't solve anything. It won't fix it. It won't change anything. It won't make the world better. It'll just be people disagreeing or agreeing for no reason. Once in a great while, in private context outside of YouTube and stuff, hopefully you'll learn something from a friend who's done their research, and it'll give you some insight to things and maybe sway you in the future. But as far as actual impact federal politics outside of the main schmoo, not so important to me. Obviously, some people identify that that's a major portion of their personality. I'm just not that dude. Now, personal politics in my city or small town politics, I will fight about that in every context. And if I was rich, I would have a lawyer right now because I've been saying a lot of truths people don't like. But I cannot afford a lawyer, for I am poor. And that's okay. Sometimes poor people gotta fight fights without a lawyer. Okay. Now what happens is if you don't get enough tape on these, you start peeling paint off from using them for years and years and years, and that's what I've done. So let me get something to wipe my hand off some. All right, apparently I got nothing off my hand, but I am going to put tape around here to see how I'm peeling off layers of old spray on there. Well, I really don't want that on me, so I have to work tonight, and I don't want to show up with a bunch of weird dark stains on me that I have trouble washing off. Okay. You know what I wish I had done in the back of this sign, though, and something. Let me see if I can get any of that color there and do something with it. Do something with it. It's nothing great. Okay. That'll give it something. All right. Let's get back to the front here. We need to dry that off with the air gun. So I better put the gadgets booth I did last video out of the way. Make sure that's pretty dry. This is just regular white, matte white. And I don't know where to put my brush. Oh, it's in the water. Oh, don't leave it in the water, Doom. So I will confide in you guys that I am going to be using a speed paint for this because I have a feeling that making a really washed out color won't have the saturation to make it very neon. And that's kind of what we're going for here. It's very important that the white, the pure white color, goes really strong on the very tops. It's less important that you get good saturation and perfect coverage on the sides of the bulbs, but my thought is that the tops are going to be, it's going to be crucial that they're pure for this. Purish at least. Oh, I got a little bit of black down there on that, or white down there on that black, and I did not want to do that. I wanted that to stay black. But we can come back and repaint that black carefully in some spots if we need to. I'm going to come back around and get another coat of that white. I want that to be really bright, especially, like I said, on that front part of the bulb there that faces outward. Okay. Oops. Now, obviously, you don't need this just for a dystopian future. You could use neon in anything. You could use it in your Warhammer, I suppose, in your kill teams and stuff like that, just for some interesting terrain in your cities. Okay, something like that. Make it a little bit of black. Do some emergency touch-up work in places where the metallic came around to this side. Oop, got white on my hand. Of course I did. And then where I got a little bit of white on the black here too. Do that. Just a couple little smatters of white. Nothing too big. All right. Let's dry this off. I think it's bright and white enough on the front for sure. I don't know if I'm perfect here on this, but I've not actually done this. I've just thought about it some. So let me get some. I wonder if I can pull that tape off pull that paint off my hand with tape. Yeah, sure, sorta. Not perfectly, but it worked some. I bet you duct tape would get a lot more of it. We're going to make a little disposable palette piece here. Doesn't have an enormous giant impact like using a tray. And let's get some colors to make our neon sign. So the first one, let's use the mixer on these because I haven't used them for a while. First one we're going to do is this plasmatic bolt. It's like a greenish blue. Now on my screen, on your screen, it's showing this going kind of slow, but it's actually like super fast to where it's blurry to look at. It's just the camera doesn't pick that up. Okay, there we go. I think that should be enough for what we need. I'm going to get my brush cleaned out with my mouth. We want to spread that all along the white. Now the way I'm trying to make this work is a way that I used to do lightsabers years ago that I thought looked a little bit too much like neon, so I stopped doing it. But I didn't have speed paints. I used to thin out paint to do it. And then we're going to leave that go. Now we're going to get another color for the next one, which will be this fictitious middle letter. And we're going to use Zealot Yellow. I don't know why. I have a paint shaker right here. And the Zealot Yellow is a little bit bright, so what I'm also going to do with this one is I'm going to add a tiny bit of speed paint medium to that to make it a little thinner. So it's brighter than lighter. So it's going to give the image impression of brighter. So I'm just going to get a tiny drop of speed paint medium right there. I'm going to get my brush. I'm going to mix those two up and thin it out some. Okay. And then I'm going to do my, there we go. Take a little bit of that off if I can. And the spots where it's a little bit too orange for my liking. Okay. And we'll do the last color. I don't know what I'm going to do that last color in. I need something kind of light. That plasma was good. What about this tidal wave? I don't know how good this is. We'll try it. I think it's kind of a lighter blue. I'll thin it down with a little bit of speed paint medium, and we'll get what we want out of it. Maybe, we'll see. I'm going to do 2 drops of speed paint medium, actually. There we go. Nice. Let's thin this out and get it real pale and real even, just like that, and then boom. And then if there's some spots where it's a little too thick, we'll spread it around and we'll take a little bit off if we need to. Okay. Sweet. It looks like a sign for an Italian restaurant or something, maybe. All right, hit it with the air gun. Get it good and dry. Okay. Now, we're going to get that white back out. We're just going to put those 3 little drops of white. And then one up here on the side. So our first little drop of light, we're using the same brush still. We're going to get our plasma and make a spot there and get some of this white. And we're going to make a very pale looking, really thin coat, just like that. And you're going to drag that around until you have almost on your brush. And you're going to dab along the top surface, making it a little lighter in some spots. Kind of a wide, millimeter wide or so strip. Wash that brush. We're going to do the same thing now with our yellow. Oh, I took the wrong white. Okay, we're going to get that yellow and do the same thing here. Get some of that white, some of that yellow. And then we're going to wipe a lot of that away. And we're going to dab it down the middle of that, making it a little bit lighter. Here we go, just like that. And we're going to do it over here on this white with the blue. But I'm sure you figured that out already. Just like that. We don't need that brush anymore. We're going to get a micro brush, something that's fractional. It's very tiny. Dry this off. We're going to get a fractional brush. And we're going to get white. Now, you want to drag it, just real light lines. And follow one trajectory on either side of that band. If you pick the top, stick with the top. If you pick the bottom, stick with the bottom. If your hands don't shake and you can print or paint a nice straight line, that is better. But if it's a little jagged like this, it'll be all right, I think. Okay. And then on that outside there, we're going to come back to the inside and do it. Kind of like the reverse of doing shadow block lettering, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. I don't know how good this looks for neon. I've never done it. This was just an experiment based off some lightsabers I had done, and they weren't this big. I'm not real happy with my neon sign here. I would be happier if it was brighter, more vivid, and looked like I wanted it to. Probably should have looked up a video of how it's done, because this doesn't seem right. All right, that's my neon sign. I'm really disappointed in that. Let's come down here and do some work on the bottom to make it look a little more interesting. I'm going to get a silver and decorate this base up some. Sure do love that plate mail metal color. So I'm just going to get a lot of that off my brush. I'm going to rough up, show some exposed metal, silver that around some. And I want to make sure I hit my garbage can pretty good with that because it's beat up and gets used all the time. Something like that. Now we want to get some black. I have some back here that I'm not sure. Oh, I was using it to do something else. Get it real freaking wet, even wetter than that, and add some grunge, especially in those cracks back there, around that metal plate, around that grating, around this metal plate, and all around the bottom of that trash can. Really hit that with it. We get the top of the trash can and some of it running out. Like there's something wet inside there that got all over. We hit the trash top with it too. I'll make it interesting. I of course got paint on my hand again. All right. Last but not least, I'm using a fractional brush for this. You probably don't have to if you have a steady hand. I'm gonna get this Void Shield blue. Oh, I should have done gradient on those neons. Oh, well. Oh, well. No one's perfect. Can I get this Void Shield blue? I'm going to write trash. There. And I'm not worried about the back, but I will write trash on the lid here. Really sloppily. Something like that. I have some ideas what I'd like to do with this can otherwise. So I'm going to get a small, cheapy synthetic brush. I'm going to put some of this other paint away. I'm going to grab this palm leaf green. It's pretty wet. Get some of that there. I'm going to get my brush wet. Paint this trash can with that a little bit. I'm not making it perfect. Okay. And it's pretty wet, so. And if you miss some spots, don't worry about it. once you got that done, I would say get some water down here. And a tiny bit of metallic brown. Something like that. And just focus on a couple areas where it's scratched up and beat up. Like towards the bottom, where it gets dragged and picked up by a machine, maybe. And do a little bit up here on the lid. So that's probably not the best plan. Okay, there we go, guys. Hey, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, don't judge it, please, off of this neon sign. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all the things that make the algorithmos, the mystical AI overlords that control the power of YouTube's, make them happy. Also, check out the website and the Discord. Those are linked in the description. Also in the description is a 25% discount code for your first month off of the Dungeon Swag subscription service. But you should consider it a prescription service because it's good for the soul to get miniatures delivered to your door. Hey, thanks for watching. And me, the trash can, and the horrible neon sign, we'll see you next time.